Bula Vinaka, and a warm welcome to Speak Your Mind. With me, Louise Kaunisela, today, and we are on your only classic hits radio station in Fiji, Gold FM, only the classic hits. And this is live on radio, a replay on FBC TV every Tuesday nights as well as the following morning. Now, we have as our guest in the studio today to talk about a local production, and this is called Say a Little Prayer, written by Ashfaaq and directed by our very own first female director, Reshna. And we also have in the studio today, he is the executive producer, and this is Professor Ian Rouse. Now, a very warm welcome to you, Mr. Ian Rouse. Thank you for coming by.
Pleasure to be here.
Great. And also Ashfaaq.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming. Now, I'd like to ask you first, Mr. Ian Rouse, how did you get involved with this local production, Say a Little Prayer?
This is not the first film that I've been involved in, certainly written by Ash. There's one which was released earlier in the year, which is called Giving Life. It's about safe motherhood. At around about the time, I guess, Ash showed me another script that he'd written, which I thought was an incredibly powerful script. This is the movie Say a Little Prayer. And given the importance of the topic, given what I thought was a fantastic script, and given my, I guess, long-standing interest in film and as a media of communicating health messages, I had to be involved.
Well, that's lovely. Thank you very much. Now, Mr. Khan, you are the writer of this story, am I right? Yes?
Sure, yep.
And could you tell me what was the reason that you came up with the theme? Well, just tell us firstly what the theme is about, Say a Little Prayer.
Say a Little Prayer is on battered woman syndrome. Battered woman syndrome is sort of a mental breakdown a woman has after a prolonged period, being subjected to violence for a very long time. So there comes a point where they actually have an emotional breakdown and they do something very drastic.
I see.
So Say a Little Prayer is a film on that subject. I wrote this film. I had this film in mind for a very long time, actually a story. Initially I wanted to do a short story on it, but these days not many people read, so I thought film would be a better medium. I did a paper on it when I was in university, and from that point in time I thought that this is something that needs to be talked about because not many people are aware that this can actually happen.
Okay, so this was in your mind right back in the days of university. You had this seed of being interested in doing something for this.
Yeah. I always tell people that writing is 90% procrastination. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
So normally the stories that I write have been in my mind for a while. Then I develop characters around it and finally get around to writing it.
So it must take a lot of thinking, right? I can just see you, lying there, maybe over a cup of coffee, just thinking up all these characters.
Normally it's walks. I like walking. So normally when I take long walks, then I think of stories, or when I'm bored in a bus, really. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that was the reason that you said that because in school you had a write-up about it and it must have obviously touched you then. And then you're finally doing the movie now. So maybe you'd like to let us know about the executive producer, Professor Ian Rouse. What sort of part did you play in the movie?
So Ian Rouse has always been very generous with whatever I write. I would say he's always been open to scripts that I bring him. And every time, as soon as one project ends, I have another one for him. So yeah, and he's very good. He's been very good to us local producers, local artists per se, and we're really grateful to have him. He has done so much to develop arts in Fiji, arts, music, craft, and film in Fiji, and we're really grateful to have Dr. Ian.
So I suppose what I should add is I have a son who's a filmmaker, and I've had quite a bit of experience in dealing with film. And I think film is an incredibly powerful medium for conveying messages. I guess as a dean of a college of medicine, nursing and health sciences, some people say, well, what's your interest? But my view is there's so many health issues around that we face in the Pacific. We've got to think of different ways of getting messages out.
Okay.
And attract to different kinds of people.
Yes.
And I guess as an executive producer, that actually giving a kind introduction, in a sense, we're the executive producers providing some funding.
Okay.
I can tell you the amount of funding that's provided for local productions is a fraction of what it would be to make a film of this size, let's say, in Australia. Probably a tenth or less is being provided. Very small. And I suppose over the last year I've got to know film producers, camera people, writers and actors. And I think there's some fantastic talent here in Fiji. So for me it was relatively easy. I can tell you that Ash was talking to me a little while ago before we came in about his next script, telling me he was up at 4 o'clock in the morning writing. I don't know whether you had a long walk at 4 o'clock in the morning, yes, there's so many things I'd love to be able to help tell stories about, which would benefit the health of people in the Pacific. This is a pretty tough topic.
Yes.
Battered women, I guess my interest is very much more generally in preventing violence against women, because it's a significant issue, and it's an issue where everybody needs to be involved in resolving it. But this is a very specific, in a sense, medical condition resulting from too much violence against women, and that's what this film's about.
Yeah, so it is a medical condition, and you being a doctor as well, is that right?
Or a public health doctor.
A public health doctor, I should say. You find it very important because in figures here in Fiji are not very good at all, I would say.
The Pacific has a significant issue with violence against women.
Exactly, and including Fiji.
But it's internationally. There's a huge problem, and WHO would certainly say violence against women is one of the most significant problems that we face in the world in terms of a removal of human rights. It's a massive problem, and in the Pacific there are significant problems. But I guess without quoting particular figures for particular countries, there is a significant issue. I mean, from my point of view, I like to challenge all men to say, is there any culture really which should allow you to be involved in violence against women? I don't think there should be.
Yeah, I never can understand it because, we all have mothers and sisters, and how could you get a gentleman to put a woman through this kind of treatment?
The problem, Louise, is what actually I think is a very big issue is partner violence. There's a lot of men out there who are in relationship with women, married to women, or a person in relationship with another person. What happens is a lot of violence happens in behind the closed doors of a home, and actually this film is totally a one set film. That means the whole film is shot in a house. Yeah, it's in the confines of 4 walls, and actually what happens is this 4 walls sort of becomes like a very great barrier for these women to break out of.
They're almost like prison, yeah?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm so sorry. I'll have to cut you off there. We'll be back for more on Speak Your Mind. And as you know, we are talking about a local production by our very first, local director. We have Reshna who'll be coming in shortly to tell you more, but we'll be back. Welcome back to Speak Your Mind on your only classic hits radio station, Gold FM, only the classic hits. And yes, we are talking about our very own local production. It's called Say a Little Prayer, that you would have, known a bit more with Ashfaaq as well as Ian Rouse on earlier. But now I do have here with us in the studio, yes, our very first female director. And I'd like to introduce you to Reshna. A very warm welcome to you.
Thank you, Louise.
And we also have here with us, he is in cinematographer. See, I knew I was going to get caught up in that, but you better say it. And this is Innocent.
Yeah, hi, Louise, thanks.
Hi, so you are a?
Well, I am a cinematographer for the movie.
Yeah.
There's other things that we had to other roles that we had to take in the movie. We had a small cast, small production crew, but predominantly cinematographer. Yeah.
Okay, right, you got the word perfectly there. That's the one that gets me tangled up all the time. But yes, Reshna, now maybe you'd like to tell us your experience being a director for this short film, Say a Little Prayer. What did you go through?
Thank you, Louise. The experience was overwhelming, very challenging for me, and being a female in a male-dominated industry, it's very challenging. You know what I'm talking about. But it was For me personally, it was a very good experience. I loved it. I loved my cast, my crew. Innocent here was very helpful. We basically worked very closely during the 4-day shoot. We had to see how the scenes were to be taken, the shots we're going to take, the angles we had to analyze. Basically, we had to be up all night to work out the scenes, the shots, and get the actors to take this particular scene 3 or 4 times to be shot. So it was, on a personal level, it was very challenging, very exciting for me, and I have learned a lot in that 4-day period.
Well, that's great. Now, how long did it take for you to make the film?
As I said, it was a 4-day shoot.
4-day shoot,
Yes.
okay. And that was a lot of hard work. Like you were saying, you probably got very less sleep during the 4 days.
Yes, we did. We would start like early in the morning, say about 10 or 11, then go up till 5, take a bit of a break, and start at around 7. And there was a time when we started shooting at 7 and we had to finish 6 the next day. So it was like a continuous shoot for almost 11 hours.
Wow.
And everyone was tired, exhausted, but we had a good time.
Okay, so when you say it's a short film, how long again is it?
It is supposed to be
roughly around 20 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah.
20 minutes?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so you've got all the message and everything in 20 minutes.
In 20 minutes,
We tried to,
Yeah.
Okay. All right, then from your side of things, what did you find? What was your experience?
Well, it was a challenging experience. I mean, as my Reshma has pointed out, I mean, we had a limited budget really to work within compared to how much it would actually take to produce films nowadays. And also because we had a really short window within which to pull it off. We had the location to us, available to us for 3-4 days.
4 days, yeah.
Something like that. So we had to make sure that we did what we had to do to get it done.
Yeah.
But it was a very, very interesting experience. I mean, we all learned a lot.
Yes, we did.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I remember one time we were shooting and I looked at my clock, my watch, and I was like, okay, you know what time is it? And I realized it was 4:30 in the morning.
In the morning.
I couldn't
Just
believe
like
it.
that.
Yeah, just like that. I mean,
And
it's
we had
just-
so much to complete.
there was so much that had to be done. I mean, we were looking at
Oh my
the
gosh.
props, we were looking at the lighting, and a whole lot of other production, things that come into play. So it's a good movie. I think we really feel strongly about the movie. Obviously, it's a good message as well.
Yeah.
And we're kind of hopeful that those that get to see it eventually will actually home in on the message and just appreciate it. Yeah.
Because it is very common in the Pacific as well as in
Absolutely.
Fiji.
Yes, it is.
So, I'd like to ask you about the actors. Since you are the director,
Yes.
how did you find directing them? Were they really good? Did they really get what you really wanted them to be?
Oh, yes, I'll say my actors were just awesome.
Oh.
Allan from FBC, he has acted with us, done some projects with us before, and he's very cooperative. And Makareta, this was her first movie. Oh, she was fabulous.
Wow.
She, if you see the movie, and you will not be able to say that this was her first movie. She was just mind-blowing. There were scenes that we had to do, and there were times when she actually did cry on the scene. You could see her shaking, and she was actually shaking. It was just, she was so much into the character that she was playing. And she did it. She did a brilliant job.
Yeah,
in
she
that
did
Excellent.
awesome.
Yes.
So
yes.
she's obviously a natural. What about Allan?
Absolutely.
Allan
Allan
for
from Today FM,
He's
yeah.
Yes.
good. He's-
For Allan, we all know that Allan is a very funny guy who cracks humor every now and then. And for him to do such a serious role was a big challenge for him. For me to take him on board, I knew that he could do the job, but it was something that we had to train him to be out of his comfort zone as well. And for him, he actually mentioned that this is a challenge for him
It
as
wasn't
well.
an easy role, yeah.
It wasn't an easy role for him, and he did admit it was not an easy job for him. But what I liked about both of my characters, they both stood up for whatever challenges were thrown at them.
Yeah.
They trained, they rehearsed, and they were up all night just to practice few scenes. And yes, they were very, very, very
Yeah, they were
cooperating.
awesome.
Yes.
Well, that's wonderful. I mean, for her to actually cry,
yes.
that is a sign of a true actor.
She
That's
is
right.
a natural actress. When
Yeah.
you'll see the movie, you'll know what
Yeah.
I'm talking
We
about.
got to take our hats off as well to the guys who did the the makeup.
The makeup guys, yes, the makeup guys were.
When you see the
awesome.
movie, it will be you'll be able to kind of appreciate the amount of work that went behind it, because the makeup is really part and parcel of that.
Yeah.
Yes,
So I think that the actors did very well, but also hats off to the rest of the team that were there behind them, supporting them.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was good. Yeah.
So, right, okay, well, like for you, you said like 4 days to shoot the movie, but then the complete package, like after everything, behind the scenes stuff, how long would that be?
The editing part.
Editing,
Well, post-production-
Post-production.
Post-production took a little bit over 2 weeks.
Okay. Just to get it perfect.
Just to get it perfect, we bounced it between the team, just to
Few
get some
scenes, the
ideas and
editing.
creative, that type of thing. So yeah, within 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, that was done. Yeah.
Okay, great. So, Reshma, did you choose Innocent?
He came in through the producer, Mr. Rajnil Prasad.
I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
we have another colleague of ours who's unfortunately not here with
Not
us
here,
today.
yes.
He's actually traveled for a business trip. Rajnil Prasad.
Prasad, yes.
He was in the capacity as a producer in the film.
Right.
So he was the one responsible for pulling all the personnel and the people
The
together.
team, yeah.
production
He's
crew.
got the team together.
Yes.
So he called in Innocent. He called me as the director. Then we had the actors. We had Allan on board, and then we auditioned for Annie's role.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we did not find the suitable character that we were looking for. And it so happened that I met Makareta, and I just asked her, would she be interested? And the first thing I asked her, do you sing? And she said yes.
Okay.
And then she came on
We
board.
work together, actually.
We do work together.
Okay, well, I will have to return because we'll head into a short break. Yes, Speak Your Mind, you're listening to. Thanks a lot for your company. We'll be back with more. Welcome back. This is Speak Your Mind on Gold FM, only the classic hits. And we continue with our interview here with about our local production. Yes, I must say we should be very proud of that. And we have our first also female director in the studio, Reshma Lal, who has been sharing a bit of experience. And we do have back the executive producer, Professor Ian Rouse. Warm welcome back
you.
to this, second segment. But anyhow, for you to be being a part of this local production, you've said that you have a son who is into film and media. And from your side, you also said that you found the message very, very powerful. And that's why you were interested in it. Now, Reshma, how did you get to talk to Mr. Ian Rouse?
Well, Professor, this is not the first time Professor Rouse has funded some project for us. We did a project last year that was called Giving Life. And this movie was about safe motherhood. So School of Nursing has funded that project for us. And then going back to Professor Rouse for another project, it was... we knew that because he's interested into local movies, into promoting local talent is the word that I'm looking for.
Okay.
And he's always ready to promote something local.
Yeah.
And from Giving Life, we knew that his son was also interested in movies, and we got to know a bit about him.
Yeah.
So when we took the project to him, we knew somewhere that he would love the script.
Yeah.
And yes, he did. He loved the script, and he was ready to support us.
Okay, so Mr. Rouse, how long did it take you to read that script?
Well, probably maybe not very long to read it, maybe 15 minutes, 10 or 15 minutes. But I think my first reaction to Ash and Reshma was, wow, I don't think we can make this movie.
Okay.
It's that powerful a
Intense,
script.
yeah.
Very powerful script. I
Right.
love the script. But here we are. And hopefully many people will see the movie and say, well, that was an amazing movie about a very tough subject.
Yes.
And as I said earlier, as a Dean of a College of Medicine, well, first of all, I should say, there's incredible talent. If I didn't say it before, there's incredible talent here in Fiji. The quality of this short movie for the funding is, I'd say, unbelievable. Fantastic quality for such a small amount of funding.
Exactly.
So we've got really good actors and producers and directors.
Yeah.
Here we have an actor who became a director.
Director, yes,
Fantastic.
okay, right.
Great outcome. And and the actress in this movie she plays an amazing role. So I've seen the earlier segment, absolutely fantastic. So from my point of view, we as a college receive some funding from various regional organisations, AusAid or from Korea, and so I've got some money which I can use to help convey health messages.
Exactly.
And this, at the end of this film, hopefully people will go away and think about what can we all do working together to prevent violence against women. I mean, that's the key message for me. So, but it's a pleasure for me to be involved with talented people. I've now been involved in helping a couple of short films, and now probably three video clips of really important songs which have key messages for the region.
That's excellent. You know, that's something I've seen about you. You always get yourself involved in very worthwhile causes, and I thank you also for that, Professor Rouse. So you did see the finished product, and you have mentioned that you are impressed.
I have seen that. Well, it's probably not the final finished product. It's pretty close to it.
Okay.
But it's an amazing product for, as I said, the small amount of resources. I can understand. I guess I've had a son who's in the film industry.
Yeah.
I can understand people looking at their watch and realizing it's 4:30 in the morning. Because
Yes,
after you do it, you get so involved and you want to get the
Yes.
best possible cut.
Yeah,
You might have to do it several times, and then all of a sudden the time goes.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you'll see it. You'll see it in the film. The quality of what's in the film. I mean, I think it's just amazing.
Great. Now, back to Reshma. You're our first local female director. How does this make you feel?
Of course, excited. And yes, I'm very excited. It's just that we never had a female director, a local film female director, and I'm very thankful to the scriptwriter, Mr. Ash, whom you talked earlier. He was very adamant that he wants a female to direct this movie because of the content and the emotions that's going to come up while directing this movie. And we have worked together on various projects, and he asked me if I wanted to do this. So here I am. I said yes to him. Yes, I'll do it. But he supported me a lot to go through this. We would read the script, we would analyze the scenes that needed to, which shots we're going to take, the angles and stuff. So he helped me to get to know the script better. And here I am.
Okay, so outfits wouldn't have been too much because it was mostly shot in a home, as they said, 4 walls and everything that was going on in the home.
Yeah, outfit and stuff was not too glamorous.
Yeah.
So it's just inside the house. So it's just going to be a normal, everyday household stuff.
Okay.
So the challenging part was the time frame we had. We had only 4 days to...
Can I say, I think you've understated it a little bit because I haven't seen the film. There's some of the very simple props which make some of the scenes come alive. They're just fantastic. Won't give it away, but I think you probably haven't realised that some of those are really important. Can I just say, clearly internationally, there's a lot of brilliant female directors, some fantastic female directors. If my wife was here, she'd say, that's because we can do a female look, a woman's look, and notice all of the key things.
The side of a woman's perspective.
And I think Reshma's done a great job in seeing the important nuances in a very tough film.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to do that all alone. The credit goes to the entire cast and crew. We had a very small team, as Innocent mentioned. Very small team, and the timing. We had a very tight schedule, and everyone had to put in. Everyone was contributing. Everyone was like multitasking at the same time. So yes, the credit goes to the entire team.
Exactly. Well, that's great. And what would be your message to the women of Fiji, you know, in the local film industry, I should say? What would you say to the women?
Well, I would just simply say that nothing is impossible. We live in a society, even today, we live in a society where there's a lot of discrimination, where I won't say discrimination, it's just stereotyped that only men are able to do certain kind of work. So being part of this project just tells me that I can take a step further. And this is a message to every woman out there that, you know, do not limit yourself. Always take up the challenge, accept the challenge that comes up. You don't know, you are just breaking away from your comfort zone. So that's very important for us women. We are very confined to our comfort zone, and at times we'll say, oh, I cannot do it. So just a message out there, please just break away from your comfort zone and accept the challenge as it comes.
Yeah, that's great. And Mr. Rouse, you'd like to say something before we head into another short break?
I hope everyone gets a chance to see the film. It won't be shown in children's time. It's a pretty tough subject. I hope everyone sees the film and then thinks about what they can all do, what we all can do to make a difference in this important issue. And then I'd probably say I'm looking forward to the next project.
All right. Excellent.
We
Well,
won't
thanks
say
a lot.
anything.
Thanks so much for talking to us, Mr. Rouse. We'll be back once more on Speak Your Mind on Gold FM, only the classic hits, to talk about the local production, Say a Little Prayer. Welcome back to Speak Your Mind, and yes, this is on your only classic hits radio station in Fiji, Gold FM, only the classic hits, and we have been talking about a local production, and this is of course Say a Little Prayer, and we have in the studio right now with us the actors, so this is going to be exciting. Well, ladies first, excuse me, Allan, we've got Margaret Gumi Vutia, who takes the lead role of the movie Say a Little Prayer. It's lovely to meet you, and
Thank you.
thank you very much. Where did you grow up?
We're up here in Tuva City.
Okay, so born and bred in Suva, just like me.
Yes.
And where your parents from? Like,
Oh, my dad is from Rewa and
Okay.
my mom is from Lomaiviti.
okay, that's lovely to know. And we have here my next door neighbor, Allan, who has also taken a lead part in Say a Little Prayer. Allan, a warm welcome to you.
Thank you for having us.
Well, that is great. Well, I shall talk to my friend here. Like I said, ladies first. And as an actor, you have been admired for, really doing the scenes like as if it were real, as if you were really playing that part. Can you share with us your experience as the lead role of Say a Little Prayer, the local production?
Thank you. It was quite a challenging role, though. As being that character Annie, I tried to come out from my comfort zone and try to be that character as Annie. Was like a very big role, though. I tried my best to actually portray it well. Looking at the script was really difficult to go through it because first it's violence. It's not romantic though, and I actually did my best, and I think I did portray it well.
Oh, that's great. Congratulations. So was this a first time that you've acted, or are you doing acting lessons or something?
This is a first experience for me for everything though, and this is one of them though.
Okay.
So yeah, it's very challenging and interesting.
Okay, so Allan, your part. I mean, you're the perfect husband, I would say. Because I
Not in
know
the movie.
you. But
Not in the
yeah.
movie.
Okay, so maybe just explain your part in Say a Little Prayer.
Basically, I play the violent husband, and most of the scenes that I'm in, you'll see a lot of anger, a lot of rage, and a lot of violence, which is like the total opposite of me, I hope.
Exactly.
I hope most people will say that.
Oh, it is.
But yes, when I got the script, the reason why I took it on was because it's different from what I'm usually doing. Because usually my roles are funny. I play the comedian, the funny guy, people. And when you do that a lot, people expect you to be funny all the time.
Yeah.
And I found it to be a bit challenging for me, because when you meet somebody for the first time, they look at you like they're expecting you to like crack a joke or make something funny, like make something up that's funny. But for this script, the reason why I took it was because it was different. It's the total opposite of what I'm used to playing and who I am. So I took it as a challenge. Inspiration for it would have to be from personal experience. And I've learned from it a lot. Not that, that I go and hit women or anything like that. But it occurs in my family too, this whole domestic violence thing. I grew up watching it as well, experiencing it firsthand in my own family. So that was inspiration for me to take up this role and to play the part. And I hope I did it well, because at the end of the movie, I hope people hate me. Well, not me,
That's
but
probably
the
what's going to
character.
happen. That's going to happen.
If they don't, then I don't think I did a good job, you know. So I'm hoping when they see the character Max in the movie, they hate him.
Okay, Max was your name.
But
And
just to be clear, that's Max. This is Allan. Don't put it together.
no worries. So a lot of practice, Allan, to be to be like a violent person.
It took a lot to be a violent person, and she'll testify to this. Whenever we have these violent scenes, when they say cut, I'm usually the one going, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, please. I'm sorry. You're right.
Getting carried away with what you
because
have to portray.
I'm not used to it. And half the time when I'm doing this, I try and make it look convincing, but inside, really, I'm feeling so bad for her because she has to put up with a lot of shoving and.
Oh, well, it must have been really well done because, like Reshma said, you actually cried when
yes,
she did the part. So can you give me a reason, or how did you just, what came across your mind? When you cried, that must have come from inside. So maybe did you have some personal experience also of domestic violence, maybe in your family history like Allan has mentioned?
Not really, but I can really, I can tell that this is one experience that some women out there, they've been going through. Must be a really hard time for them, that all these violence things that you go through, and they keep it to themselves. They don't come out and actually know and share it with anybody, but to keep it to themselves. And
That's
then,
awful.
yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
And I try to be that person is really hard. You know, if you actually involve it with your other half, and that person actually doesn't appreciate for who you are, and all those things that you go through, and you try to be this perfect wife, and he doesn't appreciate it.
Awful.
So this was all the things that she goes through.
And I mean, the husband doesn't even let the wife, go peacefully, just keeps her like, in a prison in the four walls of their home. Yes. So, I mean, gosh, you two must have really got into it, for her to cry and for Allan to just play the bad guy to actually make her cry. Yeah.
And the other thing that came out of this that I really liked was the fact that going into the movie, I actually went and read up on domestic violence and the effects that it has on women. And one of the things I learned was domestic violence is not only physical, but it's also emotional, verbal too. When
exactly.
When you yell, you don't even have to hit them; you just yell.
Yeah, some of these men, they do
They
that's
little their wives.
manipulating their wives, where they can control
into your
their
mind,
brain.
yes.
That's
Psychological.
Psychological. It's awful, man. I
It
mean,
is
for
really
both psychological and violence is not on.
So reading up on all this, I went into the movie hopefully prepared, and you will see that in the final product. But that's one of the things that I learned, that it's not only physical abuse, that it's also emotional.
Oh yeah.
And
Definitely.
I've seen that happen, and in Rotuman families we laugh about it, how you husbands tease their wives and all that. But coming to this, I think I realize a little bit more about what domestic violence is, about the abuse. Yes,
it's crazy because the couples start off, they absolutely love each other, over the moon. And how long does it take? A few years. I mean, what would be the story plot on you two's part?
And
the other true color comes out.
And the other thing too, that I learned from this movie, and something that everybody has seen also, the fact that when that happens, especially in your neighborhood, to your neighbors or somebody usually for us, it's like, mind your own business. Don't get involved. It's
that's domestic. That's domestic.
That's their
don't
problem.
Get involved.
Don't get involved. You hear the yelling, the screaming, the crying. So most people don't want to get involved because in their mind they think, that's their business. It's not yours. But I think that's wrong.
It is wrong.
That is wrong. Because imagine if that's your sister, your mom, your auntie. I'd jump in, So I hope from this movie people learn that if when you see domestic violence happening, if you see abuse happening of this nature, to not just sit back and close your windows and curtains and just sit in your house and say, it's their business. Because it's not. It's everyone's business,
That's absolutely right. Anyway, we'll be back for more. It's been a pleasure talking to the two lovely actors of the movie Say a Little Prayer. I can't wait to watch it now.
I hope you like it.
Yeah, we'll be back soon. This is Speak Your Mind on Gold FM, only the classic hits, and we continue with our interview here on the local production, Say a Little Prayer, written by Ashfaaq and also directed by our very first female director, Reshna Lal. Well, welcome back, Ash.
Thank
and
you.
yes, maybe you should let us know about when you plan to release the movie.
We are seriously considering releasing it really soon. Hopefully, during this activism time, 16 days of activism, we are planning to do it.
Oh, that's
so we are hoping that everything would be finalized by then. But if it doesn't happen then, that'll be a few weeks later.
Okay, so you being the writer as well as a producer?
No, I was not the producer. Producer of the film was Raj from Bright Future Films.
Okay.
He did fairly well in the production of the film, and this is my second association with him.
Okay, so you wrote the script.
Yes,
I wrote actors.
I wrote the script, and I was the creative director. So, meaning what creative direction means is that I was responsible for make sure that the actors were trained and ready for the shoot, and make sure everybody understood their characters and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then, so were you happy with your director's work on the movie?
Actually, I was so amazed. She actually shocked me. At how good she was, along with Innocent, and these two were sort of like the dream team out there. Innocent and Reshma.
All right.
They handled everything. They planned everything meticulously. They executed everything so well. That I was so surprised, and they did a few changes to the narrative of the way the story was structured and stuff, and it turned out so much better. So much more cinematic value added just because Reshma was the director and Innocent was the cinematographer.
Okay, so Reshma, did you have to study to be a director?
No such studies, no such training, and. It's just that I was involved with Ash in his previous projects. I acted in 3 of his movies, and just got a bit of experience through him being involved in movies. So it's just experience.
Exactly.
As a director, no experience. This was my first movie.
Yeah.
No formal training in that.
But I reckon it's all about passion, right?
It's about passion. It's about trying to get the message out.
Yes.
It's because this movie has such a strong message. It's very close. It's very powerful. It's very close to me. It's very powerful. And it's not just domestic violence that I wanted to concentrate on. It's the battered woman syndrome, the message behind domestic violence. We all know what domestic violence is, but very rarely the battered woman syndrome is talked about, which is the psychological effect a woman goes through during this domestic violence period. That is something that we wanted to show through this movie.
Okay, so you are satisfied that you got this all shown in 20 minutes?
Absolutely, it went well. See, the thing about direction is a very detailed process. You have to be very detail conscious. And Reshma is a really detailed, and she's detailed in everything. So she did that part very well. Writing is very abstract. You have to pick out things from thin air and just make and create something out of it. But while you're directing, you have got all the materials in front of you, and you have to make sure that every detail is filled in without missing anything. If you miss just one aspect, one thing, and it'll just spoil the whole narrative of the film. So these two, Innocent and Reshma, they did so well planning the shots, make sure that the lighting was done, make sure that the actors were adequately trained and ready on set, and it was fantastic how they handled it.
Well, that's great. I mean, very interesting, I must say, to see our very own people actually make a movie and even to act in it. So, I'm sure you'll get a lot of interest on this short film, Say a Little Prayer. So, Reshma, what are you looking forward to?
In terms
of this Say a Little Prayer, what would you look forward to?
Oh, well, I'm just looking forward to people understanding the message that we are trying to convey in that. We know that 20 minutes may not be a lot of time to portray such intense message, but we've tried our best so that people will just get the message out and leave the other little things aside.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking forward to people just understanding the intensity of domestic violence and the psychological effect it follows.
Yes.
So this movie is just trying to educate people. The most important thing about this movie is education. We are trying to educate people that this is a very serious matter. It's not just somebody hitting another person. It's just the emotional, the psychological trauma one goes through, because intimate partner violence is a very common thing.
Yes.
It's a common thing, but it's not talked about. It's just said, oh, it's just somebody got beaten. But the emotion one goes through, it's not talked about. So I just hope people watch the movie and get the message out of it.
Yes.
And I'm on a personal level, I just hope that one person sees the movie and changes his or her attitude towards this.
That is very nice. Thank you very much, Reshma.
Thank you,
and
Louise.
yes, Ash?
See, I'd like to say that this film is not just about domestic violence. It's about a form of mental illness as well, which is which sometimes is a direct relationship, has a direct relationship from violence. A lot of people get depressed because they are subjected to violence. Battered woman syndrome is a mental illness, and it affects a person negatively. What happens during this? These are the results of battered woman syndrome. Either a woman lashes out, kills her partner, or hurts or harms her partner, or they harm themselves and their children. There have been instances in which women have committed suicide and they have murdered their children. They have killed their children and committed suicide. They have sometimes killed their partner and committed suicide. Instances that they have just committed suicide. So these are very drastic ends to a tragic tale. So I would rather have see. What a writer wants in life is happy endings, and so what I would like to see is attitudes change towards this. It is a compact film with that says a lot in 20 minutes, and I hope people enjoy it.
Well, thank you very much for that, and I do look forward to watching it, and the best of luck for it. And until next time, this is Speak Your Mind on Gold FM, and we shall be back next Tuesday. Thank you.
Thank you very much.